recommended wiring method for a ductless air conditioner involves several steps to ensure a safe and code-compliant installation. Firstly, run a carflex whip from the disconnect to the condenser. Use black, white, and green THHM wires inside the carflex. These wires will provide the necessary power and grounding for the condenser unit. Secondly, from the condenser, run another carflex whip back to the disconnect. This whip will house two SJ cords. One SJ cord should contain white, green, and black wires, and the other should contain red, yellow, and black wires. These cords will carry the control signals and possibly power, depending on the specific model, between the condenser and the indoor unit. Thirdly, at the disconnect, bring each of the two SJ cords out of their own separate knockout. Use a compression cord connector for each SJ cord to ensure a secure and watertight connection. This prevents strain on the wires and protects them from the elements. Then run both SJ cords from the disconnect to the indoor unit. These cords will connect to the corresponding terminals on the indoor unit following the manufacturer's wiring diagram. The third SJ cord that came with the unit is not needed for this wiring configuration and can be disregarded. This method provides a permanent and code-compliant connection while effectively utilizing the existing SJ cords to connect the indoor and outdoor units. Regarding noise levels, ductless air conditioners are generally quieter than traditional central air condensers. They operate at a lower frequency, which results in a more muted sound. The specific noise level can vary depending on the unit model and manufacturer. However, most ductless air conditioner models produce a sound level between 50 and 60 decibels. To put this into perspective, 50 to 60 decibels is comparable to the sound level of a normal conversation in a quiet room. This makes ductless air conditioners a good option for those who are sensitive to noise or who live in areas with noise restrictions. In summary, remember firstly, to run a carflex whip from the disconnect to the condenser using black, white, and green THHN wires. Secondly, run another carflex whip from the condenser back to the disconnect housing two SJ cords with the specified color combinations. Thirdly, secure each SJ cord at the disconnect using separate knockouts and compression connectors. Then connect both SJ cords to the indoor unit following the wiring diagram. Finally, discard the third SJ cord and expect a quieter operation compared to traditional central air conditioners typically around 50 to 60 decibels. When working with electrical wiring, it is crucial to prioritize safety. Always turn off the power at the disconnect before starting any wiring work. Use appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician. They can ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly and that it meets all applicable electrical codes. Code compliance is paramount to ensure the safety and legality of the installation. It is important to consult the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and any local electrical codes that may apply. These codes provide detailed requirements for wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and other aspects of electrical installations. Some key considerations for code compliance include, firstly, using the correct wire size for the amperage of the circuit. The wire size must be adequate to carry the current without overheating. Table 310.15. B16 in the NEC provides guidance on the allowable ampacities of insulated conductors. Secondly, providing overcurrent protection for the circuit. This is typically done with a circuit breaker or fuse. The overcurrent protection device should be sized to protect the wiring and equipment from overloads and short circuits. Thirdly, properly grounding the equipment. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the overcurrent protection device and prevent electrical shock hazards. Green wires are used for grounding. Then, using approved wiring methods. The NEC specifies the types of wiring methods that are permitted for different applications. In this case, carflex whip and SJ cords are being used. It is important to ensure that these wiring methods are installed correctly and that they are suitable for the environment in which they are being used. Also, making proper connections. All electrical connections must be made in a way that ensures good electrical contact and prevents loose connections. Loose connections can cause overheating and electrical fires. Compression connectors are recommended for terminating SJ cords. Make sure that the disconnecting means are readily accessible and that it clearly indicates the purpose of the disconnecting means. For example, labeling the disconnect as ductless air conditioner disconnect. In regards to the specific wires, THHN stands for thermoplastic high heat resistant nylon coated. It is a type of insulated electrical wire commonly used in conduit or other raceways for general purpose wiring. The insulation is rated for 90 degrees Celsius in dry locations. SJ cord stands for Service Junior cord. It's a type of flexible cord commonly used for portable appliances and equipment. It typically has a thermoplastic insulation and jacket. The voltage rating of the SJ cord should be appropriate for the application. The colors of the wires are also important. Black wires are typically used for the hot or energized conductor. White wires are typically used for the neutral conductor. Green wires are typically used for the grounding conductor. Red and yellow wires may be used for additional hot conductors in a multi-wire circuit or for control signals in this application. When running the carflex whip, make sure that it is properly supported and secured. Use appropriate fittings to connect the carflex whip to the disconnect and the condenser. Avoid sharp bends in the carflex whip, as this can damage the wires inside. When working with SJ cords, be careful not to damage the insulation. Avoid pulling or stretching the cords excessively. If the insulation is damaged, the cord should be replaced. When making connections to the indoor unit, follow the manufacturer's wiring diagram carefully. The wiring diagram will show the correct terminals to connect each wire to. Double-check all connections before turning the power back on. Before energizing the circuit, use a multimeter to verify that the voltage is correct and that there are no shorts or ground faults. If everything checks out, you can turn the power back on and test the ductless air conditioner. If the ductless air conditioner does not operate properly, consult the manufacturer's troubleshooting guide or contact a qualified HVAC technician. Troubleshooting electrical issues can be dangerous and should only be done by qualified personnel. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity. Following these steps will ensure a safe and compliant installation of your ductless air conditioner.